going on? I am the Rum Soaked Pirate. So today we're gonna have a little fun. I'm gonna teach you guys how to create a vector into a 3D object and then open that in a 3D program where you can use it to add it to your scenes or export it as an OBJ or an FBX file so that you can use it in 3D programs. So here we go. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open Adobe Illustrator. This is a new feature that started, I believe, a year ago. So, and I hadn't touched on it with you guys. I just want you guys to get used to doing things like I said, the long way, and then little by little, I will teach you guys tricks and shortcuts, right? Before I begin, guys, please make sure you like, subscribe, follow. I am the Rum Soaked Pirate. I am on TikTok, Instagrams, here on YouTube. Please, guys, make sure that you share my stuff. I really would want to make sure that this takes off, right? And as well as it takes off, it can help a lot of people learn the basics to a lot of programs. Eventually, I will be uploading stuff that is a bit more complicated, but for now, we're just gonna stick to the basics so that I can get people getting their feet wet with graphic design in 3D. So here we go. We're gonna go to open. I'm gonna go to my downloads and I'm gonna take the TikTok logo because I'm always on TikTok. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do, this is the process. You're gonna input your image, you're gonna click on it. This here, right? We're gonna assume that has 1, 2, 3, 4 colors, which is okay. So we click on it once, we come to properties, image trace, let's put 3 colors. 1, 2, it should be 4, but let's put 3 for now and let it work. You're gonna go to this little box here where it says open the image trace panel. You're gonna click here, you're gonna double click, 4, enter, and you're gonna get the 4th color here. Okay, we're good to go. I don't see no problems with this. Everything looks nice and clean. So I'm just gonna check my advance. I'm gonna drop on my noise. I'm gonna crank up my corners. I want very sharp corners. Okay, and I'm just gonna click expand. Okay, we're gonna close this out here. With this selected, we're gonna press ungroup. We're gonna take these, move them to the side because we don't need them. You can just click and delete these, but I just want to show you guys what I am deleting. So I'm gonna take that, delete. I'm gonna check all of these and I'm gonna group them again. Now this is where the fun part comes in. I'm gonna zoom, I'm gonna move this over, click on it, effect, 3D materials, extrude and bevel. You're gonna see something different happen here. So what you're gonna see is it extruded the object. So depending on your need, you can extrude the depth, right? So that's the depth. If you want to rotate this, this is very weird sometimes, but okay, so this is what we'll get here. Okay, I want it like that. Here, I can leave it like that, and where's the other one? This is a strange one, so I want it. Or you can just take these 0, 0, 0, right? 0 is the starting point, but this for me is okay. And I'm happy with that, so I'm gonna leave that there. The next thing you have to do is make sure that you select the material that you want. I'm not gonna do nothing here. I'm gonna go back to object, export 3D object. I don't need the USDA right now, but I need the OBJ file. It would be nice if they gave me an FBX. The difference between object and FBX, FBX carries out the color information here as textures included into the design. As you'll see when I export the OBJ, it will not. So let's do that. OBJ, press OBJ, export. We're gonna keep it in my downloads for now. We're gonna click on this. We're gonna choose this, I'm sorry. And instead of asset 1, we're gonna call it 3 Shift D tick tock logo. Always give things a name, guys. Do not leave it blank or asset, because you're gonna go crazy after a while. And every time you type the word asset and you keep saving things as asset, literally it's gonna give you a whole bunch of files, so I always name it. And I'm gonna press export. As you can see, it already has this here. I don't want that. I don't want assets. So that's why I'm showing you guys how to correct it. Choose. I'm gonna go to that folder and I'm gonna delete these assets, move them to the trash. Never mind, that was something I wanted to do. Always keep things with names, okay? I'm gonna always empty my trash can. I'm gonna close this. I no longer want to keep any of this, so I press don't save. So we're gonna go to Maya. This is Maya 2026. It is a bit buggy, guys. I have had problems with some of the stuff that they included as new. It's really a hassle for me, so I don't use it, especially the booleans. But we'll touch that on another subject. So we're gonna let Maya 2026 open. It should be a few seconds. So while this opens, I'm gonna show you guys what to do. So you're gonna press new, right? You're gonna put file, import. You're gonna slide down to your downloads. I don't know why these folders are here, but I don't like all those folders. I don't know where that came from. So, and my downloads is not here. So I'm gonna show you guys how this happens. If for some reason you don't see your downloads folder, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go down to your computer, or your name, downloads, and you can click it and drag it. Why is this happening? Hold on, I should be able to drag. Drag this over and drop it where you want, and it's gonna ask you to allow it. You're gonna allow it, and you're gonna change it by date modified. And I'm gonna bring this logo. I'm gonna import this. So right now it's not saying much. Right now you're just looking at a blank. But if I select it, still not saying much. You're like, oh my God, well, something went wrong. Nothing went wrong. What happens is this is exactly what the way Illustrator exports it as triangles, so everything's triangled out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to figure this out little by little. So let's see what this is. So what you're gonna do is click on one, W. We're gonna move it to the side so we know that that's that. Okay, so by moving that, I just figured out there's a bunch of stuff in here that I do not need. So first of all, that I do not need. This, delete, I don't need. I am clicking on stuff that I see that I don't need. Delete that. Let's move it again. W. Let's see what else we have. 1 and 2. So we're gonna click here one time so you see that delete, and that one that's popping up here, we're gonna delete that. So let's see what else we can do. If I move this, this is all separated into groups. So now we have to be very smart when we do this. How would you figure this out? Very simple. We're gonna go to our front view. We're gonna hold down Alt, click in middle click and drag, middle click and drag. And I'm gonna go to here, View, Import Image. I'm gonna go back to my downloads, and the TikTok PNG. I'm gonna bring it in. And what I am going to do is I'm going to push it back. I'm going to put X right here, and I'm going to match this up as much as possible. I do not need this. All I'm trying to do is get the colors where they go, right? So, W, push it back. So here we go. We have to think about this with common sense. I shouldn't have deleted this, so let me go back a bit. I messed up on that. I messed up on that part, so let's see. I don't need that. Don't need that. I know there's one here. There's one there. There's one there. We can fix this later on. Right now I'm just deleting it because I don't want all those distractions going on. Okay, so as I did before, I'm going to leave this here, View. I'm going to import an image. Slide down to my downloads, TikTok, open R, click and drag so it matches more or less what it should match perfectly, because this is what's good about bringing it from Illustrator. It's because it's gonna always match up to what we extruded, okay? Because we use it as a reference. So to match this up, don't go crazy. Don't drive yourself insane trying to figure this out. I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna select this one here because I know that's black. Shift click on here. I'm gonna right click, assign a favorite material, and I'm gonna give it a Fang E. Now, this one is white. All this is white. All I'm doing is shift clicking what I want to be white. So this is where we have to get close. The back I'm not worried about if it doesn't select it, but this is fine. It is selecting it, so that's all that's white. Right click, assign a favorite material, and fungi. Red, red, red. Assign favorite material fungi, and last but not least, turquoise, turquoise, turquoise. Right click, assign favorite material fungi. So what happens is once you select one piece and you turn it black, that's one. This, you click on only one, you turn it white 100%. This is where Maya is very cool, so you can click on here, take this. So let's fix this real quick. I'm gonna open my system preferences. I should have had this. I don't know why it's asking me to do that, but anyway, I got my fingerprint going, but it's still gonna let me do it now. So one more time, click here, and it's gonna take that color. Click off of it, and then last but not least, click only on one of these, color dropper, and select that green, that turquoise. So what we can do is, guys, to stop driving yourself crazy, we can merge these. So for example, this, I can delete it now. And then for example, this black, let me see if I can do something else here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so anyway, so let's say for example, you want to animate this popping out of the black. First, you're gonna select everything, shift, click and drag, and I'm gonna do change this to modeling, mesh, combine, and this, the black, so it's this, mesh, combine, 1, 2, 3, and now we should have only 2. No, this did it wrong. Give me a second. Okay, hold on a second. This is doing something that I don't want to. Okay, click, shift, click. Okay, this did something wrong. Give me a second. This gave me a result that I did not want. So that's Command Z till we go back. Okay, this and this, if we move it over, it's what's black. Mesh, combine. Now we're gonna click everything else, shift click this one, mesh, combine, and now we should have 2 groups. This group, yep. So now we're gonna do a little bit of animation. I haven't showed you guys any animation yet, so this would be the perfect moment to show you guys a little bit of animation. Before I begin, I'm gonna select everything. 1, 2, 3. You see it cleans all that up, and it cleans everything up here, right? Now I'm gonna hide my grid. Okay, this is what I have, and we're gonna animate this piece coming out, rotating and falling back. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna click on this. If you press S, that's the starting point. Here, let's say at number 50, I want to go very slow, 50. I'm gonna drag it out. Let me turn to the side to see if I got enough space for it to rotate. Yep. So I want to drag it out around here. I'm going to press S. So there's your first animation. If you click and drag, it comes out. But from here at 50, let's say at 100, I want it to rotate. So I'm going to hold down, for example, let's go here first. Let's go back to 50. I'm going to press E, S. So that saves the rotation. Now I'm going to click on 100. I'm going to hold down J, click and drag till it's all the way to the front. And I'm going to press S. So it should rotate from here. It should stay the same. So yeah, so it's going to come out. Let me turn on my... Okay, so it's going to come out. Why is this doing this? This is wrong. So this should come out as I'm dragging it. Yep. It's going to rotate. And then now, instead of trying to figure out how to set this all the way back, I'm going to come all the way here, right click, copy, and add 150. I'm going to right click and paste that. So let's see what happens. I'm going to go back and I'm going to play it. So it's going to come out, rotate. So something went wrong. What do you think happened? What do you guys think happened? What happened was the rotation has to stop. But what's happening is I did this wrong. So I'm going to delete this. Right? Oops, sorry. I'm going to right click and delete that. So what happens is once it rotates, I want this to hold on a little bit more. So from 100 to 101, I'm going to copy 100. I'm going to move this to 101. Paste it. And then let's try this here now. That, paste, and let's drag this out and see what happens. Okay, we're gonna have to reverse this. This is giving me an issue. I've never had this problem before, so let's try this. So let's copy this one, copy. Let's paste it at 101 and see what happens. Okay, so sometimes you gotta go around and figure out what's wrong. Now we should be able to take this one, copy it, and at 150, paste it, and let's try it out one more time. Let's see what we get. Rotation. Okay, so sometimes I do things on purpose. I want you guys to see what can happen if you don't pay attention to, in this case, especially your the placing of your save points, right? So this is very slow, right? If you want these to be faster, I would have done it a little bit less. But right now, for what I want to show you guys, if I press the space bar and come in here, and I'm gonna show you guys something real quick. So I'm gonna press play. The logo comes out, spins, goes back to its natural point, and goes back. Okay? So let's stop this. One of the things you want to do is you want to stop this around 5 seconds after. So 155, you're going to change this from 500 to 155 and press enter. What that does, it takes away all those extra frames that was just sitting there wasting your time and probably render time, and it takes it away. So this is what this looks like. Okay, And you can put that somewhere and you can repeat it and it'll loop, it'll loop, it'll loop, okay? Now, something else that you want to look at here is something very cool. I am going to put Arnold, open Arnold render view. You're not going to see nothing even if you press play. But you need a light. So Arnold light, and I'm going to go to the sky. Okay? If you look here and I press play here, watch what happens. You can see the actual reflections and everything. So, let's have some fun with this. Let's leave this here playing. It's always going to be live unless you stop it. Let's add a plane to the floor. I'm going to press R. I'm going to stretch this out. W. I'm going to drop this to about right here. And we're getting a shadow. R. Before I do that, let me get rid of this here. So let me move this over so you guys can see what's happening. So if you don't want all those extra lines, I really don't need them right now. I'm not going to add any geometry or any bending or anything. But let me make this a bit smaller and let me zoom in. So as you can see, now we have a shadow there. Edge. So you're gonna right click, edge. W. You're gonna bring it back a little bit. And if you hold down the word shift, you see the word extrude. You're gonna push this up. Actually, let's do something else. Let's click, shift click, and shift drag this up. Click, shift click, and something's wrong. Hold on. If this happens to you, you see how this is off? You come to your modeling toolkit, and you change this to world. Right, so now it brings it straight one, shift click, and it brings it straight forward. Okay, and click, shift click. I'm gonna zoom out, so I'm holding option, shifting and bringing it out. I want this a bit higher for my needs. And I'm gonna bring this over, and I'm gonna bring this over a little bit more. So what can we do with this? Let's say, for example, I want to, you see it's nice and dark. I don't want it that dark. But let's say I do want, this is what I want. Right? And what I am going to do here is, I'm going to let that play while I'm doing this. I am going to, first of all, Command S. I'm going to save this. I'm going to go to my, where's my, I don't know where these drives are. So let's go to my Extreme. I'm going to go to my tutorials folder, press open, and I'm going to call this TikTok logo animation V1. I'm going to save as. So the way you mess with your sky in Arnold is you have to actually click on it, and your attribute editor here, you can come over to where it says AI physical sky, and these are all your settings you need. First of all, your intensity gives you how intense the day is. Okay? Your azimuth is the rotation of the sun around the object. Elevation obviously is if the sun goes up or down. So let me show you what that means. So if I was to animate this scene coming up, I would, let's say from here to here, that's my animation. I can animate this, check this out. So I can click here. And at number 1, I want the sun to be here. So I can set a key. So all I'm doing is right clicking, set key. But when it comes to the logo popping out, right here before it twists, so right there at 50, I want the sun to rise to about right here. All I can do is right click on that one and set a key. So if I go back again and press play, we have the sunrise. Next, let's say apart from this, as the sun comes up, you want a piece of glass to come down. There's a piece of glass covering your scene, right? So Arnold is a very good renderer because it has a lot of presets. I'm going to show you guys real quick. So let me object mode, right? So you can do something like this. Instead of guessing, you can just click on here, right click, face, click on it, shift right click, duplicate face, object mode, W. We're gonna bring this up. And what I'm gonna do is I have to make sure that it doesn't interfere with my animation. So I'm gonna see how far along that logo goes out. And make sure you see how it rotates and it goes through it. I need this to move in front of that, just in case anything happens, right? So now what I want is, I'm gonna press R, I'm gonna shrink this a bit. In my front view, I wanna make sure that I move this over. And I want it right in the center of my logo, but I want it here, right? And I'm gonna press Command E to extrude it a little bit. I'm gonna push it out, right click, object mode, and I'm gonna assign a new material to two things here. I'm gonna assign a favorite material. I'm gonna give this, in this case it's not a fungi, it's gonna be a standard surface. And this, same thing, assign favorite material, standard surface. So let's say in this animation, I want this to be different. I want this to be chrome, right? The cool thing about, actually, let me clear my oh no, let me not do that right yet. I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna come over here. Actually, the reason you gotta be careful when you click these, if you click these on the animation, it can ruin your animation. So don't do it to anything that has animation. You can center your pivot, but don't mess with anything else. So here, like I said, Arnold presets, let's say I want this to be chrome. But this one, I want this, let me do the same thing with this one before I animate it. I want this to be frosted glass. Okay, so this is just gonna happen. Right now, nothing's happening. Right? Nothing's happening. And if we look at this, actually, let me rotate this here. We don't want frosted glass, unless, right, you want that, but let's go to regular glass. So let's replace this with glass. And let's see if we can have roughness to it so it's not so rough. We can even animate the roughness. But right now, I guess that's fine for me because I'm going to get rid of it anyway. So what I want is, as the sun comes up, let me actually use this as a animation. So as the sun comes up, right here, I want the glass to come down before it spins. So here I'm gonna work backwards. Okay. What I'm gonna do at 50, I'm gonna click on the glass. I'm gonna zoom out. I'm gonna press W. I'm gonna move this down. Right to about here. And I'm gonna press S. Right, actually here I should press S. It should save me a key, but anyway. If that doesn't work, you just come here, right? Or, yeah, this is not doing what I wanted to do. Give me a quick second. I should be able to set a key, so I don't see why this is convert to a key. No. Yeah, this is awkward. Give me a second, guys. I should be able to click S here, and then here I should be able to bring it down. Oops, I did this wrong. Okay, let's try this one more time. If that ever happens where the key doesn't turn red, do not panic. All you're gonna do is click on here, and what you're gonna do is, with this, you see it's Y translation, you're gonna bring it down because you want it down here. around right here. And on the Y, you're gonna right click and you're gonna set a key. It should give me a set key selected. And then by here, I want this all the way up. And right here, I should be able to press S and it worked. So let's try this out. Okay, so this is the way it works. Let me stop this here for a minute. I am gonna press play here. So what's gonna happen is, it's gonna show you that the glass is coming down. As the logo is coming out, it's gonna rotate. So I did this wrong. I got the key in the wrong place. So let's do something else. So at 50, I'm gonna bring this down, right click and press S. But this 104, I don't want it here. I'm gonna right click and delete that one. So let's try this out one more time. So the glass is gonna come down as the logo is coming up. It's gonna rotate. And if you want, when it's done rotating, so at about 100, you can copy this key at 100, paste that key, and so let's see what happens. It's coming up, the key hides, but then from here, as the logo goes away, I want the glass to be at 150. And what I am going to do is I'm just going to bring it all the way up and cover the logo again. And I'm going to set my final key. S. So let's try this out. Okay, the sun is rising. Let's zoom in a little more so we can actually see what's going on. So let's say I want to animate this right at this angle so you can see what's actually happening. Okay, so let's go back. The sun is rising. The glass is dropping as the logo is coming out. So you're going to let the logo come out here. Then here it's going to rotate. So the glass is still. This is why I added this keyframe all the way over here. But as it's finishing rotating and it's going back, I do want the glass to come up. So as it's going back, the glass is going to come back up and cover it up again. So let's see what this looks like. Okay, that sun comes out, it rotates, and as it goes back, and it'll loop all over again. Okay, so this is how they do those animations. They export this as an animation. So FBX, let me show you guys what that looks like. It might not maintain the colors. I shouldn't have done I shouldn't have done the Arnold, because Arnold only works in Maya. But still, I'm going to show you guys how this works anyway. So I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to delete my dome. I'm going to close this because I don't need it. I'm going to select everything here. File. I'm going to export selection. And I'm going to put this in again in my extreme. Slide down to tutorial. Open it. Slide down by date, and I'm gonna call it TikTok again. TikTok logo animation v1, and I do want to make sure that this says FBX. FBX maintains everything. Like I said, I did the mistake of giving it Arnold material, but it doesn't matter. I just want you guys to see that you can export animations. Always, when you come here, make sure to include everything. So include animation is selected, right? Everything is included. Geometries are included. Everything is included, okay? Lights, you can add everything. Advanced options, lights, you can add everything. Um, but some programs do not read the, what do you call that? The Arnold textures, but that's fine. I'm gonna export my selection. That's fine. I'm gonna close this. Right? Let's see if it worked. So I'm gonna go down to my here. This should work. Let's test it out by opening Keyshot. Once we open Keyshot, I'm gonna close this. File, import. I'm gonna go to tutorial recordings. I am gonna wait for it to load. I do have a bunch of stuff on this hard drive, so we're almost done with this, guys. I just want to show you guys that it does export animation. Here, open, import everything, entire animation, import, and you're gonna see a line down here. So let's see what happens with this. Oh, if I press play right here, oh, it did include it. I know why I included it, because these are the only two that had Arnold. Those are included. So perfect. So let me show you guys how cool this program is. This program is called Keyshot. It is a rendering program. You can paint 3D paint on this, but I mainly use this for its beautiful rendering textures, right? It's amazing. For example, like I told you guys, if I want this to be chrome in my materials, I have a bunch. So let's say I do want this to look like this. I'll leave that there because of TikTok. I'll go to glass. So I'll go to glass. And let's say I want glass with droplets. Let me see what this is. White and gray. So let's try this one. I'll see what we get. It looks like basic glass to me. It doesn't make much of a difference, but okay. Let's pick something else out. That glass doesn't really move me. Let's pick out heavy glass and see what we get. Alright, yeah, I just want to go to something crazy. So let's zoom in. And let's say when I export this, this is where I want this to animate, right? This is the end. Let's say this is the angle that I want. So I'm gonna press play. I'm gonna change my lighting to performance and see what we get. Let me get some denoising up in here. No, that looks horrible. Let's try this out. So watch the animation. The glass drops, the logo comes out, spins around, goes backwards, and hides. The cool part about this, and this is like I said, I love this program so much because, let me stop this. So right now this does not say much because, like I told you guys, I have it in performance, but let's go to product. Oh, now you see the shadow, now you see a bunch of stuff. That's not even it. Let's say I want a nice environment to affect this. So I'm gonna go to my environment and let's try this one here. I don't like that one. Actually, let's try this one, but let's rotate the environment. Come down here, rotate my environment so I can see some lighting on the actual product. Oh, yeah, here we go. Let's say I like this right here. This is what I want. Let's try that. Okay, so I'm gonna let it render a little bit so you guys can see, but let's try this out. I'm sorry about the noise in the background, guys. That's my DTF printer shaking the ink. So watch what happens now. The glass goes down and it'll animate all over again. Okay, let's try something else. Let's change this glass to another type of material. All we gotta do is go to material, glass. Let's go to a clear. Let's go to a solid glass. What is this? White or white? So this is how cool this program is. It takes everything into accountability when it comes to rendering. So let's say this is what TikTok wanted. I'm gonna center it in the middle of my design, right around here. So I'm trying to make sure that it has the same space all around it. And let's try this out. We can increase the frames per second. So if we wanted to go, I mean, the more seconds you increase, the longer it takes to render. But let's just try it out. Okay. So there we have it, guys. If you want to see how it looks at a certain point, all you gotta do is just drag it to about right here where it stops and let it render a bit. It renders on the spot. If you're gonna add denoise, make sure if you add denoise, come to image. We want this to be photographic. Actually, you know what? No, let's leave it like that. Decrease the denoise to about 75% or 65, 75, around that range. You don't want it to be too dramatic because if it will kill off your sharpness. So I think for me 70 in this one is good. So I'm just dragging it to 70. You can type it in. In the environment, I do want this to be a bit brighter because it's kind of dark for me, so I can't push this up to give it more life. Okay, and you let it render out, and it will show you what it looks like. What denoise is, it gives you it denoises, it kills all those little lines that are going on. They'll drop it quickly instead of you waiting for a while. So that's what it's gonna look like. If you leave it going, all this stuff will go away. If you pop this to 100 in the denoise, watch what happens. So it'll blur it out in a second a lot, and it should. There we go. I mean, actually, that's fine, but I don't. You see this here, all these artifacts? I don't want that. I want it to look like it is metal, so I gotta let it work. And you'll see it change back to a little bit more metallic. Okay. If you do not want it, just turn it off. It'll go back to that full metal. So give it a few, and it'll actually give you that material. If you want to change this material here, if you don't like that metal, all you gotta do is come back to, let's say, paint, and let's change this to a blue. So all I did is click and drag it. I'm not doing nothing spectacular. Or let's say you want it to be plastic. You can just click and drag it, and it'll give you that look there. If you want different types of metal, there's more metals. So let's say if you want it to be like a black chrome, silvered out, I don't like it. So I did like that paint. Let me cancel this. I don't like that. So let me go back to plastic. Plastic looked good for whatever reason. I liked it. So let me press command there. Okay. Yeah. Let's leave it there. So right now it looks like I added a huge effect. You would think I spent a lot of time on this. And now if I press play, right? If I click and drag this, this is what we'll get. Right, the glass will go down. Okay, and if you're gonna export this, guys, make sure that you're gonna have a good computer with a lot of space, or an external hard drive with a lot of space, because this takes time. The way you would do that is, if you're ready for export, you're gonna go to render. You're gonna click on render here one more time, and instead of image, you're gonna go to animation. So this is where you have to be careful. The higher this number is, the longer it's gonna take. It can take days. But let's say I want this to be this here. I will call it a name. So TikTok blah 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 blah. Hold on. TikTok logo render final, because this would be my final. I would turn this off unless you're doing various renders. And I do want it in my tutorials folder, so I have to click here and wait for it to load. So give it a second and it should pop up. So this happens when you have a lot of files on your hard drives. So I want it to be in tutorial. Open that up. I don't want to put frames. I don't want the frames output. I'm not going to use it for anything else, so I'll take that off. This format is okay, so I'll leave that. Be careful with your options here. Per frame, let's say for example I don't want it to be 700. Let's say I want it to be 300, because I don't want it to take forever. And then this is fine, and I only wanted to use, in this case I have a lot of cores, 12. I wanted to use only half in case I want to do something else while I'm working. It's still 6 other cores that I can work with. All right. options. This is fine for me. I'm not going to complain about the size. Actually, I'm going to drop this to 800 because I don't want it to take so much time. And when I press render, I make sure that everything is okay. I press render. You're gonna get a pop-up. It's very small, right? And it's gonna go very quickly. The problem is, if you notice, it's going very fast, but that's per frame, right? So that's only frame 1 of 388. This is what I'm telling you. I'm gonna cancel this because I don't want to finish this. I'm gonna delete it because I don't want it. But that's what you would have to sit through. So if you're gonna render something, make sure you have the time, the space in the computer, space or external hard drive. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate you guys if you really stuck through. Right? Remember, I am the Rum Soaked Pirate. I'm gonna save this. I'm the Rum Soaked Pirate. Right? Follow me on TikTok, Instagram. Here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share, please. It really helps the channel out. I do this mostly for you guys to get better at trying to become a graphic designer or 3D animator, right? In this case, I jumped from graphic design to 3D in a heartbeat, and we even got some animation done, right? So thank you for sticking by. If you did, I'm very grateful for you guys. All right, and as always, drink up, me heart is your hole. Be safe, guys.